This is the MOBC, My Own Boxing Community. Please like, share, and subscribe. All right, y'all. So it looks like Keith, one time Thurman, will be facing the giraffe, Sebastian Fundora, at 154 pounds for his WBC belt. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think Keith Thurman has done enough in the 154-pound division because he only had one fight there, and I believe that fight, I don't know was if it was a catch weight or what, but I both fighters, Brock Jarvis and Keith Thurman, both weighed under 154 pounds. So if you guys know if it was a catch weight, let me know because I have no idea. I just know that they fought and weighed in below the 154-pound limit, but it's whatever. Keith Thurman got a stoppage in that fight, and I was surprised. I thought that fight was going to go 12 rounds, but Keith One Time Thurman came back finally with a KO win because the last time he had a KO win, Mr. One Time, was in 2013. All right. And in the 147-pound division where he was in his prime, managed to stack up a pretty good resume and some pretty good wins. It's unfortunate that, for whatever the circumstances was that had to do with the Danny Garcia fight, he was put on the shelf, right? He was, he had that accident. He had the car accident, the alleged car accident. And, he was out. And he never really showed us, the fans, what his conditions was or what his injuries was. There was no footage at all of him in the hospital or no picture of him, a selfie or anything in the hospital after being injured in this car accident. So I always find that to be strange that he was put on the shelf out of nowhere, right? But he only has one loss, and that loss was to Manny Pacquiao, who was past his prime, well past his prime, and still had enough in the tank to beat Keith Thurman. Now, Keith Thurman, on paper, should have won that fight. He's younger. He was in his prime, fighting an older, war-driven, been in so many wars, been knocked out Manny Pacquiao, version of Manny Pacquiao. And I do believe that the long layoff hurt Keith Thurman in his fight with Manny Pacquiao, right? Now, me and my bro, Jay Cotto, we all picked Manny Pacquiao to win that fight, right? We all had Manny Pacquiao winning that fight. And he won. Manny Pacquiao won the fight. Now, yeah, he won the fight. He dropped him. The fight was competitive. He won a split decision. Whatever. I thought it should have been a unanimous decision, but a win is a win. So he goes up in weight, right? Because he can't make 147 anymore, right? He just can't do it. Okay. He's 36 years old. He's not in his prime. Please, boxing fans out there, stop saying man strength, that the guy is older and he has his man strength. Please stop it. You are not as you're your strongest in your 20s. Okay? Period, point blank. You're in your prime in your 20s. Can you develop better skills and fight smarter when you get older? Yes, you could do that. But you won't be stronger, you won't be faster, your joints won't be the same, you won't heal the same. That's how aging works. Okay? So Sebastian Fundora is fighting not only an undersized fighter at 154, but he's 36 years old, and he's past his prime. Fundora is in his prime. Now, I always thought that Fundora was a cool fighter. He's pretty good skills. Um, he's a tall, like I said, the guy is a giraffe, right? Okay, he's 6'5.5". You put on the shoes. Even with the boxing shoes, I know that the boxing shoes is flat, but you got on socks. You know, it's still cushioned under your feet. So it's and a half. Even if it's an inch and a half, I mean, even if it's a half an inch, it makes him 6'6" in the ring, right? The guy's a giraffe. The guy is a big guy for 154. All right, okay. So Sebastian Fundora is coming off of a win over Tim Tszyu, which is a very good win. I have my opinions on why he was able to dominate Tim Tszyu, right? But that's for another topic. I think I mentioned it in my previous videos. I don't know which one. But this is going to be a very, very hard fight, in my opinion, for Keith Thurman, because Mendoza was the only person to knock out Sebastian Fundora, right? And Fundora was in that war with Erickson Lubin, which was a good fight. And Lubin is an undersized 154 pounder, and he managed to, to put him down. But, him being younger, him being fresh and bigger fighter, he was able to beat Lubin, right? So Keith Thurman got to have to deal with that. Tim Tszyu, who I believe was winning the fight in the first 2 rounds, I think it was the second round or the third round, where he got his head busted from the elbow. Tim Tszyu was winning that fight, and you could make an argument that he was on his way to winning that fight, right? But unfortunately, he had to cut, couldn't see. It's unfortunate that Tim Tszyu's corner didn't stop the fight sooner, okay? So Keith Thurman's only chance in this fight, in my opinion, is you're going to have to try to put this guy down, knock him out, or get some knockdowns in and rack up those points. But it's going to be really hard to get past this guy's jab. It's going to be really hard to get inside. I don't remember the last tall person that Keith Thurman fought. Well, first of all, he's never fought anyone as freakish as this tall stop sign, Sebastian Fundora. But Mario Barrios, he's kind of tall. I think Mario Barrios I think he's about 6 foot, 5'11", 6 foot. But that's not 6'6", right? And then before Barrios was Manny Pacquiao, right? Manny Pacquiao stands next to Fundora. He's staring at the Johnson. So he's a short person, right? So I don't know what Keith Thurman is going to do. I don't know what his game plan is. But in my opinion, I don't think Brock Jarvis, for one, you didn't get the rounds in. You got him out of there early, right? You got him out of there early, I think, in the third round. I think 1 or 2 more fights at 154 to really get acclimated into that weight class would benefit him. But for whatever reason, and I'm going to talk about this reason, the WBC champion, right? Real champion, which is Sebastian Fundora. And then you have an interim champion, which is Virgil Ortiz. That's the fight that should be happening, right? Virgil Ortiz is the guy that should be fighting. You are the automatic mandatory. But for whatever reason, it's Keith Thurman, right? And I know it's because Keith Thurman is going to sell tickets. He sells fights pretty good the way he talks. But for my prediction, I don't think he's going to win this fight. I think Sebastian Fundora is going to knock the lisp out of Keith Thurman's mouth. I think he's going to bust him up. I think he's going to beat him up. If he stops him, he stops him. If he beats him by 12 rounds, he beats him by 12 rounds. However which way he wins, I'm not predicting how he wins. I'm just predicting that Sebastian Fundora is going to win this fight. I think he's younger. I think he's stronger. He has a size advantage. He has everything going against him on a positive note to beating Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is just older now. You know, he's just not the same fighter. If he had all these injuries or whatever, it's a different ball game now. 154 is stacked. And I just think Fundora is going to win this fight. And I hope when he wins this fight, and if Virgil Ortiz get past Lubin, hopefully we get Sebastian Fundora and Virgil Ortiz so we could get a unification going on. Otherwise, if Lubin wins, I would like to see Lubin and Sebastian Fundora have a rematch, because if Lubin wins, that'll bring the momentum up for Lubin, the confidence up for Lubin. And I think he'll probably be prepared for Sebastian Fundora second time around because he's a really good fighter. But I have Sebastian Fundora beating Keith Thurman. Just the MOBC.